Hello, hello. I'm your host, Biggie Smoke here, with the next stream in a line of streams for HRL. Of course, back on the HRL account, as always, for the HRL League. And this time, we got you, the second race of this championship here in Austria. 36 laps, and probably a lot of chaos to come. Austria, of course, very good track, lots of overtaking opportunities, and definitely is going to give us some fun, I feel, in a Grand Prix race, especially in a Grand Prix setting. I think strategy is going to take a little more of a back burner, unless, of course, we have some crazy weather or dynamics happen during this race. But for the most part, I do think it's going to be just a skill test. Who is the best driver? Who's willing to push that extra ounce? Who's willing to make that crazy overtake to try and put themselves into the lead of this one? That's what I feel is going to make the big difference here today, and I have a feeling it's probably going to be what will make a good race. Yep. Now, of course, we have to have multiple considerations, of course, because there are many drivers in this league that we now know have a chance to win, and we've seen a bit of that already last race in Silverstone with some of that with that unsuspecting victory by Vickwick to put himself in the top of the championships standings going into this one. And we'll see if he can repeat, and we'll see if Michello can get back to bringing home some points and trying to defend. It's going to be really interesting, I feel, and I feel we're going to have a good race on our hands, and it's going to be interesting just to see who here is going to take the checkered flag in Austria. So, what are some of the factors I think we can get going into Austria? And there are many, of course. Obviously, since this league runs on dynamic weather, anything can happen in terms of weather. We could see rain, we could see dry. And if that was to happen, of course, that would play a very different factor and definitely put a wrench in the work for some of the drivers here who may be better on dry or maybe better on wet. So there's anything to really consider in that regard. Of course, wet weather does give a more even playing field as you can't really make much of the downforce advantages that you would, even though it is already an even playing field when you really think about it because it's equal performance. But what I'm more trying to say is it's an even playing field because on the wet, you'll find, for the most part, especially the gap between some of the better drivers, it actually tends to get a little bit closer because they're now all feeling the same effects. And some drivers, especially the ones with a smoother driving style, do get a big advantage on in that regard. But of course, if it's dry, then it's going to be who's willing to push that extra inch, who's willing to stick their nose in a place that most wouldn't. And that's going to make a big difference, especially in a dry race. And a dry race is definitely going to benefit those drivers that are going to be aggressive because Austria is a track with free DRS zones that are one after the other, and they're all into fairly hard braking zones, which mean you get good chances to overtake or at least go side by side and try and drag race your opponent into the next corner. And so it's definitely some of the fun here of Austria, and it's why we see so many overtakes, so many position changes. It's just normal in a league like this, and it's as expected too when you really think about it. Now, of course, we're just waiting for drivers to get assigned to their teams, cars to get ready, and then hopefully we'll be in here with the quali session. Obviously, a short quali session, 18 minutes. That's going to decide our grid order. Albeit in Austria, grid order does not matter that much, as I've seen many times in league racing. Grid order doesn't mean a damn thing here because there are so many possibilities. I think for most drivers, they're going to be loving the opportunities that they're going to be given, and for many, it's probably going to be a good chance to really, really prove why they're in this league, because this league is probably one of the best remaining ones right now in terms of driving standards and overall pace in F123 right now, because of course most leagues have moved to the newer games. So it's definitely up there. And as such, we're gonna see definitely some blazingly quick lap times. We're gonna see some probably aggressive driving too, and some definite attempts for overtakes. But also, I wonder what we're gonna see in terms of defense, because it's also gonna be a very important consideration to make when we watch a race like this. Austria is a very offensive-friendly track. It's wide. It's fairly wide in areas. You've got areas to make overtakes. You've got a lot of good corners, a lot of slowdown, free good slowdown zones, free DRS zones back to back. So it's very offense heavy. Makes it very hard for the defending driver to actually really hold their position. So if you're a defensive driver, you're gonna be putting in some work today. That's a definite. And so I definitely feel for defensive drivers they're at a bit of a disadvantage today, but I could be wrong and they could play a really good game. Again, many drivers have proven me wrong, so we'll see who here is going to bring home that checkered flag, and we'll see if maybe Vickwick extends the point lead, if Michello puts something on him, or an unsuspecting driver takes a win here, or even if Sir Angel is able to make the repercussions for what happened last race with the unfortunate puncture. It's all things that can really change a race. So, and as we've seen with HRL, there is nothing we can say will not happen, because anytime I've said something has a low chance of happening in this league, it's most definitely happened, and it's definitely taken someone out of a race. And that's just the first certain fact. I think we have some fun on our hands though. That's for certain. And I definitely think it's going to be a good race overall, especially for two competitors to really be up and racing for. And of course, while you want to do all this, it's going to be very important to try and manage everything as a whole. As we get some viewers on the stream too, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting one, and I'm really excited for this. I'm really, really excited for this. As a whole, we have great racing, we have great drivers, and we have a great race on our hands. And I definitely think it's going to play a massive effect into this one. So I hope we get a good race. I really do. And I definitely think we have the possibility to get a good race. And that's just the question of whether or not we will get a good race. But being Austria, being this grid, and knowing what these guys are capable of, and seeing what these drivers are capable of, I know we have a good race on our hands, and I know definitely this race is in good hands. As we just wait for some of the final drivers to really start entering into this one, and get us really up and ready for this race to start. It's going to be time to see, though. Exactly what's going to happen in this one, exactly who's going to make the big differences, and exactly who here is going to be on top for this race. As we wait for a few more drivers to get all set up. The 9 has joined for McLaren, so we do have the McLaren, one of the McLaren drivers here, which is important for sure, especially in a championship like this where missing out on a race is really bad. It can really be the difference between winning or losing a championship in this one. And especially with as close as these drivers are now, I definitely think there's going to be some close. I feel like it's going to be definitely probably a championship that will end in the final round. It's going to be close most of the time, so I have a feeling it's gonna be a difficult race. I feel for most people to really try and uphold and run through. But the question is, what's it really going to take to win this race? And I feel only the drivers know that answer. And that's going to be something they're going to be questioning themselves when this race is on its way. It's going to be a mix of mental fortitude, that belief that you can keep pushing, that belief that you can win, and that belief that you are willing to do what it takes to win. And those are the things that are going to decide the winner here. It's really who is the strongest mentally, who is willing, who is able to put that fear of possibly crashing out of the race, to put that fear of falling away, to put that fear of doing anything wrong aside and just take that opportunity when it comes. And that's going to be the deciding factor, and that's really the deciding factor in any race. But it's definitely going to be the deciding factor in a race like this, where overtakes are plentiful and defense is insanely difficult. So you really, really, really have to feel confident in you as a driver. But it's all about feeling really confident in yourself as a driver. So we're just gonna have to see. I'm curious. I know there's definitely a few people excited about this one. There's definitely a few people waiting to see this one. So I'm excited. Is everyone else? Are the drivers excited? I would hope so. This race is a dream for a driver, especially when it comes to overtaking. Just waiting for this to get started. All right, I think everyone is on their teams now. So I think we are ready for this race to get underway now. I definitely think it's ready now. I don't think that anyone's waiting on this, so it should be, hopefully, everyone readying up. And the action in Austria is just around the corner. All right, with everyone readying up, we have 30 seconds now. The countdown to the beginning. Now, who is Gonna bring home that victory here in Austria. Well, I think it's time we find out. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we are now. Coming to the short qualifying for Austria. I'm ready as always for one crazy race. Is everyone getting their tire strategy set up? Getting ready for what will be the most important hour of their day right now. The most important, practically hour and a half of their day. And of course, this is coming up on, of course, what will be the 24 hours of Daytona. So, nice little bit of racing action before we get into some more racing action IRL. So, we will see as we just wait for a few more people to get ready and set up, and then we'll bring you guys down to the track for what should be quite an enjoyable event. Quite the enjoyable event, I feel. I'm excited. I got a smile on my face right now because I know we're going to have a good race. And I know just exactly what we're going to expect from this one. I have a feeling that this is where we're really going to see the personality of a driver come to light. But here we are now in Austria, and I got to sneeze. Hold up. And it just went. All right, never mind. We are okay. We are okay. Let me put my telemetry, lap data, minimap on. And now we wait for the first person to come out of the pits and start setting that lap here today in Austria. So who is it going to be? Who's going to make that first lunge to try and get out, try and set their lap nice and quick, and set a base mark for everyone else to try and beat? All 20 drivers have shown up, so this is a fully stacked grid for this race. As now, it seems it's going to be the Haas of Jay Palmer. Actually, no, it's not. There's an Aston Martin that I think is going to beat to the line, and that's MKKJR. That's actually at least the one in front right now. Now the question is he going to let the cars behind by? But right now it does look like MKKJR is going to be the first guy to try and set a lap here today, and he's got 2 cars behind him. He is going to let the cars by. He's letting the Haas by, and he's going to let the AlphaTauri by, I think, as well. So he is going to go to the back. So it's going to be the Haas right now that's really going to be given the first chance to try and set this lap. So it's Jay Palmer, F1, and what do you know? Everyone feeding out of the pits. And this is another thing with Austria. This track is so small that everyone is going to be so close to each other that dirty air is most definitely going to be a bit of an effect. But the thing is, with this track having a lot of high-speed corners too, and a lot of the corners also being slow speed and good corners for holding, it's actually a good track, all things considered, for in terms of dirty air, because it's not that bad, and you can get a good, nice slipstream out of it too. As Jay Palmer off the track, and Klipa, we'll see what he's going to do as he's coming around the final 2 corners. And now, DRS open, crossing the line. The AlphaTauri going to be the first guy to set a lap, and here he comes now, rounding the first bend. DRS open. Now you're going to be coming down that DRS straight. Full speed ahead, reaching speeds of around 320 for braking down into second. It's very important that you make this well. And now on board with the AlphaTauri, we're going to see what he's going to do now. As he's just trying to maintain as much speed as possible and really try and send that car through the field. Get himself. He's going to be the one setting the benchmark. So what time is everyone going to have to beat here today to try and set themselves up good for the race? See the McLaren in front. Is the McLaren going to get in the way? Klipa, 104.403, the time to beat. So what will other drivers be looking to set? Ron Denine now, he started his lap. He's the McLaren that was blocking the AlphaTauri, and now he started his lap. And a couple other drivers coming around the field too. That's MKKJR 103.721. We got a few other cars. Alfio Free Jones, what is the Ferrari going to say as he comes around the final bend? Mercedes coming around. And now the Ferrari going to drop a 103.72. So he's going to get himself just in the pole by one thousandth of a second. Two-bit of 104.288. And now the times are coming flying in. Peak Racing in the Alfa Romeo coming across the line. 103.571. Peak Racing in the pole now. Miratachi in the Merc, coming around the Alpine now. And we got two Mercs actually coming around for laps. Two-bit, of course, already set one. He was the 104.288. And now what is the Merc teammate, Miratachi, going to set? As a couple more times come in, we got the Haas of Make You Sad, 103.878. Divine, 104.075. And boy, it's actually hard to keep up with all the times coming in. It is a lot of times. But it's going to be Miratachi, unfortunately, going to invalidate that lap there. And so nothing going to come of that. And it's unfortunate for him because he's going to have to go back in and try again. Which is one less lap that you get to really try and set and improve your time. And you don't get to set that benchmark for yourself and that benchmark that you're trying to improve. Speedfest also, unfortunately, not going to be given that lap. And so what is Tio going to say? Is Tio going to go in, or is he going out for another lap? He's going to try. Again, here we go. Ferrari rounding the final bend. What's it going to be for the Ferrari driver of Tio? 103.834, going to be enough to put him into 4th place, but it's not going to be the greatest time, but it's going to be a very solid time right now. Of course, we have to wait because some of the drivers are still waiting to come out, but for the first 10 out right now, it's already looking like it's going to be a close race. Times are very close here. Now Marino 11 in the Williams, another invalidated lap, and that's some of the difficulty here in Austria, is trying to make sure you don't invalidate that lap. You want to watch those track limits as much as possible, and you have to try not to hit that 2,000 and free line, especially coming out of T1 where you end up going way over that sausage curb and going way wide. And now we got Tom 99 on the soft tires. He's a soft tire, obviously, but anyways, he's coming into sector 2 now, gonna use the DRS. He's gonna brake as late as possible here, down in the 3rd gear, 4th, shifts up early actually, interestingly, probably trying to maintain grip, which is a smart strategy, because you want to try and get onto that throttle as much as possible as you come out of the corners, and that's just in general for every track, but here in Austria, that little difference makes a massive mark on your lap, especially in a track where a lap difference can really only be 1/10 of a second because it's such a short track. It could be 1/10, it could be 1,000th of a second, and it's very likely. And now Tom coming across the line, 103.975, so both Alpine teammates, 6-7, 103.916, 103.975, so they're both very close in terms of position right now. And now Jay Palmer F1 on the soft tires, this time doing a very serious lap, got off the intermediates, and now we're going to see just what he's going to be expected to set. With the track starting to already get rubbered in, the times are going to tumble down a little bit, especially with some of the faster drivers waiting to come out. I definitely think it's these times are going to start tumbling down. And Sir Angel in the Alfa Romeo. Now this guy, unfortunately, it's an unfortunate story for him because he was driving so well in the British Grand Prix, but unfortunately got a puncture right near the end of that. That was it for his race as he fell down to 8th because he had to get that repaired, as he had to get that tire changed with only a few laps left in the race too. Actually, I think it was the 2nd to last lap. So maybe he'll be able to get some redemption here in Austria. But we do know he has pace, and we do know he's a threat here in this championship. But now, what's the time going to look like for him? Peak Racing, of course, still holding pole. It's a 103.571 for Peak Racing. Coming across through the final 2 corners. What's it going to be? Sir Angel now crossing the final corner. Now, DRS open. Is it going to be enough? But it's a good lap. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2, a 103.698 for Sir Angel. And not a bad time at all. Can't be mad about that one. And now Vickwick, the winner in Britain last week. Can he be the winner here this week? Can he get the pole here this week? Let's see now. Vickwick in the Aston Martin, trying to take whatever he can off of Peak Racing's time. And so he's going to be looking for every little opportunity to try and extend those track limits as much as possible. Try and push that little extra envelope so you can get those turn-in points proper, hit those apexes, and really try and get that car into every single place he would want it. And this is going to be important because this is going to decide exactly where he's going to sit. And I know I said grid position isn't too important in Austria, and it really isn't, especially considering the large amounts of factors, as MKKJR 103.555 and Vickwick a 103.717, so the Aston Martins making a big Alfa Romeo sandwich. There's a lot of Alfa Romeo meat, I'll tell you that. Now Goico, one of the three that still have to set a time. It's Goico, Muratachi, and Michello. And so Goico now coming around the final couple bends into Sector 3. This sector is the fastest sector. It's only got two very... Well, actually, Sector 1 is probably a bit faster, but Sector 3 has the fastest corners for sure. As you come through these corners in around 5th or 7th, 5th, and 6th gear. As he's going to unfortunately invalidate it right at the end of the lap there. And so nothing going to come of that. And Muratachi going to actually set a lap, and he's in the 10th with a 103.985. And so this field is already looking fairly close right now. As the top 10 split by only 4 tenths, really. So that should give you a hint of what we're going to get out of this race. You can already tell this is going to be a hard race. I'm going to have to try and be on my best toes here to try and actually give you as much of the action as I can, because it's going to be a chaotic race, and that's Austria in general too, because basically out of all the races I've commentated in my career, Austria has given a lot, and I mean a lot of classics. And we'll see if it gives another one here today, but it's already looking very likely, because look at those times. They are close. And now improvers, made you sad, unfortunately invalidated. Tio looking for an improvement. He's at a 103.834, and so he's going to try and get around that AlphaTauri, who's unfortunately on the line, so I think that might have messed up his lap a little bit. But that is a weird place to catch a lapped car, though, so it's kind of unfortunate for him. But now he's coming down. MKKJR right now, currently holding the pole position, 103.555. Peak Racing behind 103.571. And now Tio rounding the final bend down the straight, 103.536 as he takes pole away from MKKJR. A good lap from Tio there. And now how will Alfa Romeo respond to that? As Peak Racing now, he's a 103.571. He's looking to get his pole back. He's got 0.04 of a second to get back. Will he be able to get them back? A really interesting thing about this event is you can really see line differences too. There are many different line differences that you can take in Austria and still be fast. So this is one of those tracks that you can really adapt to what you're good at. As Peak Racing up 2.5 tenths, he might just do it right now. Coming into the final two bends, what's it going to look like for him? Here we go now. 2 corners away. 1 corner away, really pushing the track limits there. 103.256, 3 tenths up, and takes away Tio's pole very decidingly too. Great lap by Peak Racing there, as he's pushing the 62-second mark on a lap. Spifus down to a 105 now, and wow. Don't we have a race on our hands, let me tell you that. As Tom up to a 103.901, so that's enough to put him into a P8. And Vickwick, he's currently running a 103.717, looking to make an improvement there. His Aston Martin teammate got kicked out of pole, and now can he beat his Aston Martin teammate and possibly even challenge for pole now? Of course, he won in Britain, so he's going to have to make a move here. He needs to do something if he wants to keep that lead. So let's try and see if he can do it now. Austria, the famous thing is, don't be afraid to touch a little bit of grass, but Vic Quick into the pits. It was not what he wanted, and he goes in immediately. Sir Angel at a 103.698. He's in P4 right now. Whoa, Marino out of that one. I just saw the frame of that broken front suspension, and he's out. So he's going to finish with a 103.947 his time. And drivers feeding into the pits. They're all coming out in waves, so it kind of makes it easy as a commentator because you know when you can kind of get a little break or take a slight relaxation. And actually, in fact, everyone's coming in right now. So everyone getting ready for the last ditch run. 3 minutes 40 on the clock. Practically everyone's coming in for that last ditch run on this one. Alfio Free Jones out. Goico obviously out too. S9 getting ready to come into the pits. Alfio Free Jones on the out lap. And I think Goico might be on a lap. Or not. Time's pretty far off. I don't know if he's made a little mistake there. But I definitely think with the time that far off in the first sector, there's a high chance that this lap is probably going to the chalked list. Yeah, it is. So Goico into the pits. And right now, we're just waiting for the out laps to finish, as we got 3 minutes left of this chaotic qualifying session that might see someone take pole here. But Peak Racing right now is holding on to that pole position with a fairly large chokehold too. So who's going to challenge him for pole? That's the question that will be answered just a little bit from now. And now Alfio Free Jones starting his lap, and you can see all the cars coming out now. You see like 5, 6, I want to say almost 8 cars coming out of the pit now. And wow, that is some chaos. I feel bad for whoever's going to have to get a lap through that. They're going to have to figure that out very fast. Absolutely brutal. And yeah, that lap is done for Alfio Free Jones. There's really not much he could have done there. That's just an unfortunate batch of cars coming out, and there's really nothing you could do. Maybe it was not the move. You should have stuck with the herd there. And wow. And Vic Wick, I think, finding that out too. There are just way too many cars to try and get around. That is chaos. Brutal timing for a lap there, especially with all those cars. And so now we wait for a lot of those to end, as Tom, one of the leaders of the pack, so I mean he's got the advantage of some clear air up front, so he's definitely going to have a chance to make a decent lap time improvement. But look at that! Look at the track map! That is insane! There's so many cars coming out of the pits. Everyone trying to find some space, and it's just not possible right now. You ever seen a lot of cars back to back to back? Tio, though, does have a fairly clear track to him, though. And this is going to be a chance for him to make a big improvement on that lap. Michello also getting started on his lap. Trying to make a big improvement there. But Michello going to invalidate! Michello has invalidated his lap. And he's not going to have a chance to set another one. Wow! So Michello might be starting from the back here in this one. So he's going to have one hell of a challenge on his hands. But it's Austria, and there's a lot of possibility. Alfio Free Jones up to a 103.443. Tio not going to be able to make an improvement there. MKKJR going to be looking for an improvement. Peak Racing going to improve on his lap, 103.215, in an attempt to try and keep sneaking that lap time up and make it just that much more difficult. MKKJR gonna invalidate that lap. BRL Ritzy, 103.584. I think he finished his lap. I saw some smoke there. Someone did something. And it's going to be a chaotic finish to this quali session. Tom, a 103.803. Wow. Gotta say, I'm in awe of what happened in those final laps. That was chaos. That was insane to watch. That was a lot of cars coming at the exact same time. That's a lot of invalidated laps, as to be expected with this just mess that was all these drivers coming out at the exact same time. So, everyone finishing off their laps, people were just crashing out to retire from the session. And so it's just kind of one of those unfortunate little events there. And Michello, one of the unfortunates, who's not the only unfortunate who was not able to set a lap there. And now Denine, one of the last to come across the finish line and get this quali session up and finished. And 2-bit now, we just kind of wait for him to get fully into the pits. And we are almost ready here for 36 laps of what should be a fun Austrian Grand Prix. I hope y'all are ready. I'm most definitely ready. So, that's your field right there. And it's going to be peak racing, starting pole. Pretty decisive chokehold, all things considered, over those top spots. All right. So. Oh. Has Michelle disconnected? Oh, we're all leaving the session. Or have I disconnected? I think I disconnected. Oh no, I didn't disconnect. Alright, everyone's just leaving. Never mind. Okay, I didn't. That confirms it. Because if I disconnected, it would be an all AI race. And everyone's leaving, so. Okay. Never mind. I know what happened. So, messed up lobby settings, it looks like, probably. Alright, so. I'll be back with the actual race, as I think this has gone to a bit of a mess right now. So,